I won Best BR Sports Picks. He's Mike Brenner. I'm Peter Loshak. We are the odds couple. Week 6 in college football is what it is right now. It's Thursday the 6th, Thursday morning, and we're talking with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. We're going to hear what he has to say about Florida State, Miami. Now, Mike Brenner, you've already given an opinion on this one. You went official with Miami getting 3, and the more I look into this game, the more I'm agreeing with you. What?
I didn't take Miami, Pistol.
Oh, sorry. Florida State plus 3.
You're pulling me. See, I messed you up last
Florida
video.
State plus 3. You're taking Florida State plus 3. And the more that I look into this, I'm kind of agreeing with it.
Buddy.
Florida State, of course, has won 6 in a row against Miami. Usually they're the favorite in this situation, but now Miami is ranked higher. Miami is 4-0 against the spread, but their competition hasn't been terribly impressive, and now they're stepping way up. Their defense is putting up good numbers, but now they're facing an offense that's a lot better than what they've faced so far. Florida State, of course, coming off of the last-second home loss to UNC. How much does that give them a boost here? Does that is that a negative for them? You still liking a Florida State plus 3?
I sure do. And Pete, you know what? I love giving you updates like I'm going to give you because it brings a smile to your face, and I promise you, it's like cashing a ticket. I read something and got deep and found out that, Mark Richt, he's doing a great job down there.
Sure.
And they were interviewing him and telling him, hey, this team is, I think you guys are, you're exceeding your expectations. Everything's going well. How do you feel going in with Florida State? And he said, well, I have one concern for this team. And they're young. They're doing great. Yeah. Let's not forget that. You know what his answer was? He goes, these boys are flying a little too high right now, and I need to bring them down. I'm not kidding you. And then when he tells you that means he goes, that's his biggest challenge right now. Florida State is primed to walk in here, experience, even with the stats of 6-0 and everything else. They're going to walk in here pissed off from the UNC loss. There's a veteran group that's a hell of a lot better than their record shows, and I think a can of whoop ass is getting opened up, and I think this is going to be a 10-plus point big-time win.
And they know they're an underdog. Mike Brenner, Joe Duffy, I'm getting more and more convinced as the week goes on that Florida State might be a great play. Do you agree with that?
I do think they're a very good play. One of the things that I've done, and I've been, a little surprised that this total has stayed at 65. Look, I always tell people that my expertise is handicapping games, whereas opposed to like Billy Waters' group, they're better at manipulating lines and predicting line moves. But I kind of channeled my inner Billy Waters. I grabbed this game under 65 about 48 hours ago because with Hurricane Matthew, this total's probably going to drop. I know the Hurricane will be out by then, but the field is likely to be soaked, and the total's probably going to drop. So I'm looking at hopefully middle the total. So that's more of a handicapping a line move rather than as handicapping the game. But the bottom line is, look, this is one of those an odds maker overreaction. If this game was played 2 weeks ago, Florida State would have been the road favorite. But obviously, Florida State's had a disastrous year so far. They were blown out in one game, of course, lost a heartbreaker last week. While Mark Richt, he's done great down in Miami, but it's not like they've got a big signature win. And Florida State has not lost back-to-back games since 2011. I think this is a classic battle of an undervalued team playing an overvalued team. Like I said, 2 weeks ago, the line would have been completely different. So I do think that Florida State is the play. I do think, it's another one that could go down to the wire. In fact, it will go down to the wire, but that's why those 3 points loom large. And I think even on the money line, I take Florida State.
Yeah. All right. I'm sold. I'm adding this to my official record.
Absolutely. You got to.
I'm adding.
And you know what? Joe talking about that under makes sense, too, because I'm going to tell you guys something. Florida State's defense and that defensive coordinator, they're under a hell of a lot of pressure, and they're a lot better than the record shows. All right, Miami, and you said it perfect, Joe. Right now, they're a little overvalued. I think they're going to shut this offense down. Brad Kaya isn't going to be able to just fling the ball around. He has not faced what he's getting ready to face, and I think Florida State reminds the nation this week. Guess what? We still got talent, and Miami gets reminded, hell, we are rebuilding. Guess what, boys? This thing's staying under as well. I'm making it an official pick, and I am not totals Brenner, but I will be.
All right, what's right now, 64.5.
I'm taking it.
Heritage is hanging 64, which implies a lean to the under with Heritage.
I'm taking it.
We're giving you under 64.5 in Florida State, Miami. I'm adding Florida State plus 3 to my official record. Joe Duffy obviously endorses both those plays, right, Joe?
Yeah, well, for the purposes of this video, as you would say, I will take Florida State plus the 3. What I said is I grabbed the under because I think there's a good possibility the total's going to drop, and I might be able to middle the game. But again, that's an example of me more handicapping a line move than it is handicapping games. And I'll admit I am much better at handicapping games than I am handicapping line moves. But I do think this total will drop, and I might be able to middle it.
All right.
And you know what? That information is so valuable for our viewers. I mean it. I like the way that you separated that, Joe. Thank you for doing that.
All right, Joe, give a quick plug for OffshoreInsiders.com.
Guardian with our Wednesday night game of the year on Arkansas State. Despite being -5 in the turnovers, they went outright as an underdog. We already got a huge portfolio up for this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, including, in fact, Sunday I got a system that's never, ever lost. We got a database that goes back to 1989. It is a humongous play, underdog game of the year. Get it at offshoreinsiders.com.
Sounds great, Joe. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Do your research before you bet. Check out our ratings guide to see which books have the best ratings and sign-up bonuses. Open up several accounts and shop for lines at sbrodds.com. Always be ahead of the game.